Well, what's up, everyone? This is Jeff. It's rainy today, and I'm sitting in my truck waiting to go into a building here at work, and I'm waiting on this rain to let up and having a cup of coffee. So I thought I'd just talk about something here for a minute on this random talks that I do sometimes. Yesterday I was looking at my hands. Weird thing to look at. But I just sitting there kind of looking at my hands, and I was like, man, my skin's starting to show a little age. Well, yeah, you're going to be 55 here soon. So, yeah, your hands don't look quite as youthful as they used to. And as I thought about that, I was thinking about life, that I'm really big about not wasting days and times. And I value time more now than I ever have, because when you reach this point in life, you realize that you have lived more life, possibly, more than likely. I don't think I'm going to live to be 105, 110 years old than I've already lived. I've lived more life. And so the things that I used to not really think about and treasure and value as much that are slipping away in my life, and the people that have slipped away in my life, it's really changed my way of thinking. And I think, a lot of us, we reach a point in life where we look at life differently when we get older. And I was older when I started having children. I say older, I was 30 when my first child was born. And actually, I was 31 when my first child was born. My goodness, and I was 40 when my last one was born. And so I still have two teenage children at home and one in college. And I think about the times, with my kids when they were younger, I had things I thought was more important to do, and I thought I was too tired to be involved in some of the things that they were doing, or I thought I needed to work. And then I've got family members and friends and stuff that have, passed away. And I've got one of my friends the other day, he lost his dad, and his mom died a couple of years ago. And had another friend that lost his mom last week, and so I sent one of my friends a text to let him know about it. He said, you know what? He said, we're now the older generation. We are going to be the older generation. We're headed there really fast. And I thought, yeah, you're right. We are. So here's the thing. Growing older is something that we can't stop. Unless you die a premature death for some reason younger. And something we don't like to talk about, we don't like to think about, but it's reality that life deals us sometimes. But we're going to grow older. We can't stop that. We do things to try to slow the aging process down, which we can take care of ourselves better. We can eat better. We can exercise. We can keep our mental health better. Stay as positive we can. Be involved in people's life. Do things for people that doesn't focus on ourselves all the time. Hold the door open for somebody. Say a kind word to somebody. Try to be a good person. Those things help you feel younger, I do believe. They do me anyway. Make me feel good. And it's not all about me feeling good for myself, but just doing things for other people and getting myself out of the way. That makes me feel younger. Makes me feel energetic. Makes me have a spring in my step, so to speak. And that's not always every day that you feel that way. Not for me anyway. But the thing about it is I thought about, growing older and growing older gracefully. How do we grow older gracefully? Well, the thing about it is there's certain things about my age I'm not willing to accept yet. I don't like the aches and the pains and the feelings and everything that comes with that. But I do my best to continue to go on during that time. I will not quit trying and pushing myself through those days that I feel like that I don't want to go, because there's a lot of people in life, they reach a certain point, they say, well, I'm going to retire, I'm going to take it easy. Well, retirement is a word. And it's a word that if we allow it to get in our minds and retire, so to speak, and go home and take naps all the time and prop our feet up and say, well, now that I'm in my 50s, my 60s, or whatever, I'm just not going to push myself anymore. We got to know our limitations for sure and what we can do. We can't do what we used to do, and it takes a little longer these days to do things, and may have to take a little extra time or break. And I hope, I can remember a little bit of wisdom in this, that, breaks are good for us to take in life at times, but we can't quit. We all need times of rest. We all need times of breaks. We need to change things up a little bit to stay refreshed and keep from getting burnt out. And to me, that's showing ourselves grace in our life. That's being graceful to ourselves. That's growing old gracefully. But learning to accept what you can, what you cannot do anymore. That's not an easy thing to mentally transition to. I think about things a little bit more before I do them. And every now and then I'll do something and I go, whew, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It wasn't as easy for me as they used to be. I got out in the yard Sunday, out in the driveway, and we set up a portable pickleball court that my daughter has, and not no good at that. We just get out there and kind of hit the ball back and forth, and yeah, a little sore, a little hard to do. I'm definitely going to dive after the ball or trip and try not to trip and fall on the ground like I used to do when I was younger. I just have to be a little bit more careful on those things. We just have to accept those things and, realize that, life is what it is, and we have different stages. And kind of back to the retirement thing, I kind of had my thought here and I lost it there for a minute. But retirement's just another chapter in our life, and it's a word that we use. And it's not time to quit. You just move on to doing something else. And hopefully that you are financially able enough and have a pension coming in or whatever you may have coming in to be able to do some things. But I think it's real good for us to continue to go volunteer, do things, do a side hustle, do something to keep ourselves busy and being productive. Because if a man or woman, a person, period, doesn't have a reason for their feet to hit the floor every morning to keep themselves motivated and keep themselves going in this life, to have a purpose, to have a reason, that makes us feel useless. That makes us not want to get up every morning. When you go to bed at night, you need to know what you're getting up to do the next morning. Get up alive, get up ready. Not that every day is going to be full of joy and happiness and spirit and feeling. Sometimes you got to get that going for yourself. And there's some days that you just think you cannot get it going. I mean, I've been that way all my life, even when I was younger. I had a couple days last week, I just could not hardly put one foot in front of the other. But there again, I have to get myself motivated and get myself out of that and get myself going in that. So that's just my thought for today, that we are all getting older, whether you like it or not. If you're young, you're getting older. You're getting older. I'm gonna quit rambling. Y'all have a good day.